I've played here a few times, but it's a little bit tennis ball bouncy. If you get your lengths and line really good, it can be very difficult to score off. But if you're slightly off, it can sit up and you can be spanked. You really can.
Well, not so long ago, Australia played here. She was 3 years ago, and it was a record run chase as Woakes is in again. That one is driven by Kock very sweetly, but goodness me, the outfield is slow. Not so long ago, it's chased by Tom Banton, who slides. That just normally had 4 written all over it. Is in again. That one is driven by Kock very sweetly, but goodness me, the outfield is
periphery.
Of chased by Tom Banton, who slides 10, 20 yards.
Just normally had 4 written all over it.
The fielder wouldn't even have bothered.
It's quite green anyway, isn't it?
Very slow
on the places around South
periphery
slower outfield.
of the outfield.
6
last Kock 20 yards, and the last ball over is still very down.
Dot balls.
It's quite green anyway, isn't it, Durban?
Towards the backward point. One over gone. South Africa losing the toss, being invited to bat first by Eoin Morgan. Kock 3, basis 3. But Duckworth Lewis might come into the equation in the run chase. A 6 without loss. 45 overs aside. We started an hour and 45 minutes late, and yet we've only lost 10 overs in total, 5 overs per side. One change for South Africa, bringing in the extra spinner, left arm orthodox finger spinner Bjorn Fortuin in place of Lungi Ngidi, who led the seam attack at Newlands a couple of days ago. And for England, unchanged, so no opportunities for Saqib Mahmood or David Malan, the top of the order, or for the veterans Mo and Ali and Adil Rashid. They're still on holiday.
Yeah, it is a strange one, isn't it? But like I said, I think it's purely down to he wants to put his players under pressure. He give them the first opportunity, and now he gets to test the character in this game. I mean, if they go down in this one, England, they've lost the series for one, and there'll be some changes anyway for the next one.
Sam Curran from the Fort Road end up to the crease now. That's down the leg side. That swung. That ball swung quite a lot. It's called a wide because it went down the leg side, but Sam Curran won't mind seeing that.
Well, that's why he's opening the bowling, by the way. We keep saying this about Sam. We keep looking at his stats, whether he's better with the actually new ball or with better in the middle and with the old ball. But if he's going to open the bowling, the ball has to swing. He hasn't got express pace, and that's why he's using him as a left arm swing bowler back into the right hander.
Running in towards us, past umpire Alim Dar now bowls, and it's driven by Hendricks through extra cover, and again it seemed to bobble awkwardly on the edge of the square and took a bit of pace off it, but they will go through for 2. Just the conditions, the outfield looks very slow, Claire.
It looks very, very slow, but I wanted to also comment on Goffey with the Sam Curran. I mean, these are ideal conditions for him to get the ball to tweak around a little bit. Very overcast and incredibly humid outside. So if he's going to do some damage, this would be a really, really good opportunity for him to hit his lines and lengths very well. But Manners, yes, this outfield is going to be very slow, and both teams are going to have to run hard between the wickets.
It's going to be hard work, isn't it? Here's Curran again, bowls. Hendricks, the right-hander, forward, pushes that one square of the wicket on the offside. I was saying that 3 years ago, Australia thought they'd finally got into the series against South Africa. They made 363. With David Warner making a massive 100, and South Africa chased them down with an over to spare. David Miller scored 130.
There's been some big scoring games, haven't there? South Africa and Australia in this country. Some huge ones.
That was very special. There's Curran in once again, and blocked by Hendricks straight back to the bowler.
From what I've seen of Reeza Hendricks, and I've only seen him the last one day international and just a few others now, he looks to me as though he's just a batsman that's looking for that drive. It seems to be his get out of jail shot, just looking for a drive all the time.
He almost like sits back on his sort of back leg, waiting for something to get pitched up so that he can play sort of through the covers with confidence.
Sam Curran once again to the crease now, full and wide enough for Hendricks to leave alone. You're quite right, Goffey, and I wouldn't expect anything less, but you picked him up. He enjoys a cut as well, but yeah, he's a big drive man. Slightly surprised England haven't got more than Chris Jordan in the slips. They've got straight mid on and mid off, which suggests that Curran is going to get Hendricks driving, and extra cover mid wicket. short fine leg, backward point, third man slip. At one again, outside the off stump, left alone by Hendricks, no run. England putting South Africa in, South Africa 9 for none.
Reeza Hendricks definitely taking his time here, trying to make sure that he sees the ball clearly and understands what Sam Curran's trying to do and what the pitch might be doing. No big, glorious shots as yet.
Here's Sam Curran once again from the far end, the old fort end, and that's flicked away nicely off his pads by Hendricks. It's full and straight, which does allow for that little deflection behind square on the leg side. They go through for 2 more. Again, that was a shot that might have brought more reward than just 2 had it not been for all the heavy rain on the outfield. 2 overs gone, South Africa 11 without loss.
They have been watchful, but it's a comfortable start from South Africa. 11 after just the 2 overs. I think England have just got their lines slightly wrong. Chris Woakes started off with the first ball, as you'd expect, right on target, left through to the keeper. Since then, he's just been a little bit straight onto the leg stump of the left-handed Kock. Got driven a couple of times as well. And then Sam Curran started with a wide. And again, just drifted to outside off to leg stump. So it's just the lines England have got wrong so far this afternoon.
It's going to be Chris Woakes once again to Quinton de Kock on the back of his 15th 15th ODI 100 at Newlands a couple of days ago. Here is Woakes that bowls, and it's again out of de Kock. Tucks it away behind square on the leg side for another 2 developments, refurbishments, sprucing ups here at Kingsmead over the last year or so. You'll see Goffey, the Castle Corner has been revamped. It's a very, very popular spot. And then there's now a castle deck as well with a couple of plunge pools. Not that they'll be plunging into them today. Here's Woakes once again down the leg side, flicked away, nice leg glance down towards fine leg Curran Fields, and they go through for a single.
What I will say, my first impressions here is, but it still looks a little bit dated in places, this stadium, but...
It looks very dated, Goffey, come on.
Yes, but what they've got upstairs is a first for me. They've actually got a spa for men upstairs. And now what I mean by that, you can have your haircut, you can have a shave, as you see it. I just had a shave this morning with the old razor.
Upstairs?
Yeah!
Here?
Mate, do your eyebrows, your nose. There, they do the lot upstairs.
Man, you're clearly missing out on a lot.
Woakes again to Quinton de Kock, pushes it wide of Tom Curran at mid-off and sets off for a quick single. A spot upstairs,
men's grooming
in the President's Suite.
Yes,
in the President's Suite, yes.
President's Suite, they've got men's grooming. So there's guys up there having their eyebrows done, their nose hair, their ear hair. Some are having a trim. I had a shave. You had shoulder massage. It's a first for me.
Pedicure?
In the world of cricket, you could have that.
Pedicure?
No, I didn't have time, mate. I had to work.
Right, I'm bewildered. First of all, the Zulu dancers before the game, and now a men's beauty salon, grooming salon. Here's Woakes once again, back of an head, pushed out on the offside. So, but they had to do something with the President's Suite because they got a hard time, the KZN, the KwaZulu-Natal Cricket Administration, because the President's Suite upstairs is the largest in the country by massive President's Suite. So they had to, I guess, rent out some of that space because it was never full. Here is Woakes once again, pushed, blocked defensively off the back foot out towards mid-arm.
No, what it is?
There it is, the Sorbet Promise.
The Sorbet Man Gateway, and they're a company apparently in the centre here, and they sponsor the rugby team. What they call it? The Sharks.
Sharks.
Yeah, they sponsor the Sharks. So they've just got involved with the cricket, and obviously the rain were coming down this morning. They asked me if I wanted to pop up for the massage and a shave. I went, of course, why not? At the cricket.
Here's Woakes once again running away from us from the Umgani end, our commentary end, and it's blocked by Reeza Hendricks straight back to the bowler, and there's no run. 14 without loss. Quinton de Kock 5, Reeza Hendricks has 8. Tell you what, a few years ago, Goffey, you wouldn't have been talking about nasal hair and ear hair, would you?
I still haven't got it. She said, oh, there's nothing to take from your nose or ears. You're pretty fresh for a 50-year-old. I think they could do wonders with your eyebrows, though.
Thank you very much. I'm going to pop up there.
You should do it. I'll take you up, yeah? I'll take you up and give you
I won't have time
give
for
him a
massage.
makeover.
Maybe an eyebrow trim.
An ear trim.
And you guys are saying you're working hard.
Well, I was. It's going to be Sam Curran continuing from the old Fort end, or the Fort Road end, as it is now. He's got a slip in. He's going to be swinging it away from the left-handed Quinton de Kock, left armour to left-hander. And the men on the boundary down at third man and deep square leg. Both bowlers have opted for Quinton de Kock, and it's Curran in, and flicked away straight to short fine leg inside the circle. Tom Curran along the ground. South Africa 14 without loss. De Kock 5, Reeza Hendricks 8. I must say this pitch looks pretty flat and blameless in the early stages.
Well, I must admit, I think what we've seen is a little bit of swing, but nothing so far as seam movement off the pitch. It looks a little bit slow. He definitely got lucky there as well, didn't he, Sam Curran? De Kock middled it there. Finally, little leg glance straight to the fielder.
He's got his brother in the right place. Curran in once again to De Kock, and it's sliced away down towards Matt Parkinson at third man. Go through for another single. 15 without loss. It looks blameless, not too quick, but not too slow either. Just enough pace. It looks just like Mummy Bear's porridge for the batsman. Just right. Blameless, not too quick, but not too slow either.
Or was it Baby
just
Bears
enough pace. No, Baby Bears was too cold, like Mummy Bear's porridge for the batsman. Driven away, square of the wicket on the offside by Reeza Hendricks. Right. Beautiful cover drive, as Darren Goff said. Itching for the drive is Reeza Hendricks. And Sam Curran looking for swing, pitches it up, invites the drive, and Hendricks says, "I'll have some of that, thank you."
Yeah, Reeza Hendricks looks in good form there. That came so sweetly off the bat, hitting it through the covers. He was almost just waiting for that.
I wouldn't pitch it up to him. Just from, like I said, a few hours I've seen him play cricket. I mean, he's just waiting for a cover drive. I know Eoin Morgan, the captain's now, took slip out, which I think he should keep a slip in, but he's putting an extra man into the extra cover region. Packed offside field now.
4 men sailing one on the offside. Hendricks drives, and it's well fielded, beautifully fielded by Chris Jordan. One of the best in the world, wherever he is fielding. It's a lovely dive at cover, saves a single.
Goffy, I like what you're saying. Keep that slip in, keep that little gap open, let him try and force it through the covers there, and then the guys behind the stumps can be in some business.
Yeah, you got it at the back of the length to him. Yeah, you still want him to try and drive, but the only shots he's hit through have been real full balls. They've been the right shots, but try and get him to do it off the back of the length.
Here's Curran again. Short, pulled away by Hendricks at 4. Can't do that, Sam. It's the medium pacer's nightmare, isn't it? You know, if you pitch it full, you get driven. You try to drag the length back a little bit, and then you get pulled. That's a lovely shot, though. 23 for none.
Do you know something, though? I actually think he tried to ball a bouncer there, which is probably not the brightest thing to do. It's a slowish pitch, we've just said. If you don't get your lengths right on here,
try to drag the length back a little bit, and then you get pulled.
Tried to ball a short bouncer, pulled away from not quick. Do you know something, though? I actually think he tried to ball a bouncer there, which is probably not the brightest thing to do. It's a slowish pitch, we've just said. If you don't get your lengths right on here, you can go around the park.
And he slides,
dragged the ball a short bouncer, pulled away from not quick enough.
The boundary, and they're through for another couple. Good start for South Africa. Quinton de Kock 6, but Reeza Hendricks with a flurry of boundaries is 18 from 16. 4 overs gone, 25 without loss.
Well, this is good for South Africa because it's keeping the pressure off the Kock, isn't it? Because if Reeza Hendricks goes in there and faces ball after ball after ball, it puts the pressure on Quinton de Kock to try and up the ante and up the scoring rate. But at the minute, he can just sit back and watch his partner at the other end. He can get himself in because he is the key to South Africa for him getting a big total. You know, he bats for 25-30 overs. South Africa to get a decent total.
England don't want to be short here because it almost seems like that old tennis ball bounce. It just sort of sits up and says, hit me. And Reeza Hendricks was very strong off the back foot there, hitting a couple of drives on the front foot, and then the short ball comes and he dispatches it off the back foot.
Woakes running away from us. De Kock forward. Blocks it defensively, square of the wicket on the offside.
Hitting a couple of drives on the front foot, and then the short ball comes and he dispatches it off the back foot.
Yeah, looks a good pitch. I was surprised. I came and did my TalkSport Drive show here last night, and seeing the covers on and seeing the amount of rain that fell last night and the power it came down was unbelievable. I thought, oh dear me, if you win the toss tomorrow, you're going to have a little ball. It's got to do a little bit. But so far, done nothing whatsoever off the pitch at all.
Here's Woakes once again, and it's pushed by de Kock straight back to the bowler, who fields it and then lines up a shy at the stumps. De Kock duly scurries back into his crease. The drainage was completely replaced here 4 years ago, after a test match against New Zealand was washed out completely because the outfield just wouldn't drain. You know, drainage systems have a shelf life, don't they? They eventually become clogged up. And here's Woakes once again. Edge! No, that's gone through second slip. De Kock's coming back for the second run. He's going to have to hurry here! Oh, goodness me. De Kock could have been out twice there.
Has he missed
had
the
a second slip. He's missed the stumps.
He's got to have, hasn't he? He's missed the stumps. No, he hasn't. Oh, he has? He actually missed the stumps, Jonny Bairstow. Great bit of fielding, actually. I think it was Sam Curran down on the final leg, third man boundary. Run round, up in one scoop, perfect to him, to his left hand. Threw it back in to Jonny Bairstow. A decent throw, I think it was, over the stump. He might have had to go slightly to his right. He's missed the stumps. I think he'd have been home anyway.
Yeah, he put the dive in, but I mean that was an unnecessary second run.
Does he want to borrow these glasses, man? Or what?
he actually has taken it. So he's got his hands, his gloves up, and he's looking at the ball, and then he's still looking at the ball as the ball lands in his gloves, and he goes down because he thinks he's directly above the stumps, and he misses them. Oh, amazing!
Oh, that is remarkable. It really, really is.
He was home, but he's just obviously, because he's keeping his eyes on the ball, and you can't look at the stumps. You know, keep your eyes on the balls, and he's thought that he's directly above the stumps, gone down, and missed them. Here is Woakes again, bowls. De Kock drives, bit of bottom hand in that, straight to Eoin Morgan at mid-arm.
South Africa definitely risking it there, running through for a second run. Probably not the ideal. Don't want to lose Quinton de Kock to a run out, would we?
But the first thing is that it's gone through second slip off the outside edge.
Well, he got the length was spot on, just back of the length, wasn't it? That's the length he should be bowling on here. No drives, back of the length, make it difficult for him to drive. If they're going to drive, it's going to be a risk on the up.
Here's Woakes once again, and that's driven sweetly by de Kock. Again, he's not going to get 4 for it, which he would normally have done, but the chasing is done by Tom Curran. Keeps him down to just a couple. So it looks to me like Eoin Morgan's got the blueprint, strategic plan out for Newlands, and he's going to stick to it, because Joe Root's now warming up, and he also bowled first change at Newlands.
Well, I'll tell you what, Joe Root fancies himself against Quinton de Kock. He's said it all series, but in a test series he's had a couple of chances against him. He got him out in the last game. Yeah, he did get 100, by the way, but I don't think if I were captain I'd be looking to Joe Root to try and get Quinton de Kock out, but for some reason Joe thinks he's got the better of him.
Here is Woakes again. Slow ball, I think, there, and de Kock comes forward and treats it with due respect, nudging it straight back to the bowler. 5 overs gone. South Africa have made a very good start indeed. 29 without loss. De Kock 10 off 14. Reeza Hendricks 18 off 16. And as I said, so far it's been an almost carbon copy of South Africa's innings down at Newlands. Time for me to make way for Mark Butcher.
Well, to be fair, I think it's a disappointing start from England. They bowled 5 overs, 29 for non-South Africa. They'll be really happy with that start. Anybody who won the toss would have had a little ball, would have expected a bit more movement, but England have got the lines and lengths really, really wrong, especially Sam Curran. Bowled 2 full, and then tried to bowl one to make up for it, ball that short delivery, got dispatched for 4 by Reeza Hendricks, and it's made Eoin Morgan bring total change. With a new ball in hand, he's bringing on his part-time off-spinner, Joe Root.
So South Africa got a solid start here. I'm sure South Africa, if they'd won the toss, would have also had a ball. So to come out so far, all wickets intact, they'd be very, very happy with that.
What do you think, Butch? I see you concentrating and thinking there. You got your captain's head on for a minute, huh?
I'm not seeing this, but you know, Joe Root has, as you guys have said, picked up Quinton de Kock before. De Kock looks in sublime form once again. Root is in to Reeza Hendricks, who knocks the ball in front of square on the leg side into a gaping gap at mid-wicket, and they turn the strike over for a single.
I just think it's a strange one. I think with a ball, if you get the lengths right, I just think England have got the lengths horribly wrong so far this morning. I think a ball of seamer comes on, try somebody else to see how he looks, hits that back of the length. He might just nibble around a bit and take a wicket, but he's gone really early doors with a new ball to his off spinner.
Yeah, I can't dispute. Chris Jordan down there he's all the way out at long on to Quinton de Kock. Let's have a look at the field. So there's 2 men allowed out. We're still in the power play. Those are long on and mid wicket to the left-handed de Kock, who gets on the back foot, knocks it again into a gaping wide gap at mid wicket, and they turn over the strike once more.
I mean, is it a case that England or Morgan doesn't believe that his other seamers can sort of penetrate here or take a wicket?
I hope not, as Root comes in and Reeza Hendricks just pushes out off the back foot up to long on, who is Chris Jordan, who I think the three of us think maybe he should be bowling rather than fielding the ball from long on. And they turn over another single, 32 without loss. Now de Kock 11 from 15 and Reeza Hendricks is 20 from 18. Strike rate of over 110 for the right-hander. Root is in and de Kock defends. Jogs out to a silly mid-on position, picks the ball up, and there is no run. Sprints back to his mark and he's ready to go again. Comes in, he's knocked over Quinton de Kock. Of course he should be bowling. Eoin Morgan, World Cup winning captain. Who would question his judgment? And once more, Joe Root has got the beaming smile on that baby face because Quinton de Kock is on his way back.
This is unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, I said just before, but Joe Root believes he's got the better of Quinton de Kock. One of the best players in the world. He just cannot seem to pick Joe Root's pace up. He bowls it quick, he comes round the wicket, into the left-handed de Kock, does him for pace, he backs away, tries to give himself a little bit of room, straight through, knocks his poles out. Well done, Eoin Morgan, and well done, Joe Root.
111 balls Joe Root has now bowled at international level to Quinton de Kock, and he's dismissed him 3 times for an average of 14. Genius.
There you go.
I was trying to say that before he bowled him as well.
Well, quite something. There you go. Well, I wonder whether or not that'll mean that's the end of Joe Root, whether he comes off now, because he has Reeza Hendricks, a right-hander, to bowl at, and just waiting for the new batsman to come down the steps at the moment. It seems to have been an interminable delay, and it looks as though it's going to be Temba Bavuma, who played the spinners, whether it's the leg spin of Parkinson, the straight breaks of Joe Denley, or the leg spin of Parkinson, quite brilliantly at Cape Town in his innings of 98. And he comes out to a smattering of a round of applause from the local fans here at Kingsmead. It's taken him as long to get out to the middle as it used to take Viv Richards to get off the middle when he was knocked over for a low score. It wasn't very often in one-day international cricket, I have to tell you. 32 for 1. Hendricks is 20. Bavuma is still not quite out in the middle. He's been met by Reeza Hendricks at the non-strikers end. They're now having a long old chat. Joe Root has got a slip in place. 4 men on the offside, backward point, a man, well, sort of short third man, a man dead on point, extra cover, mid-off, all up inside the circle on the offside. Chris Jordan is in at slip. There are 4 men on the leg side, 2 of them back on the fence, at long on, deep mid-wicket, and there's a backward square leg and a man on the 45. His Root is in for the final ball of his first over. It's a short delivery, speared in, and Bavuma again nudges it into that vacant mid-wicket position. He will keep the strike. Andile looked as though he had the right hump with the Temba Bavuma, as if to say, you give it another couple of minutes and I'm a couple of seconds and I'm timing you out. And it's 33 for 1 from 6.
It is a long walk. Here,
if you don't get out of the dressing room, they hadn't seen him appear.
Come on, but you know, South Africa, it's one of the worst places when you're next into bat. It's a long walk, and if you don't get many runs, it's a even longer walk back. And I said during the Test series, you know, I said, unfortunately for me in my career, whenever it was the long walk, I always got a duck. I don't know why. It's the embarrassment. Keep the helmet on, Daz. Don't take it off. You've just got another note.
It's also got that very weird little staircase where David Warner and Quinton de Kock met and cuddled. So
is that here?
So if someone is actually coming out, you can get a little bit stuck up there as well.
There's a little switch back in the dressing room. Yeah, okay, I take your point. I still think it's taken him 3 minutes, and I'd have been appealing. Go on your bike, son. Chris Woakes is in. He's got a slip in place. That slip is Chris Jordan. To Temba Bavuma. Oh, that's a good delivery. Good length, and it just does a little bit of something, as Darren Goff has been keen to point out. Comes off the outside edge down to Matt Parkinson at third man, and it's another single to Bavuma.
But as Darren Goff's been saying, it's all about the length of delivery and the line that they're pitching, and it definitely looks like Woakes is sort of trying to correct that and make it a little bit harder for the South African batsman.
Well, I think this picture's made for Chris Woakes. If he gets his length right, I think he will be very hard to get away. But so far, he's got his line and length wrong.
Woakes is in, hits the crease hard, and that ball is back of a length again. Hendricks is forced onto the back foot, turns it into the mid-wicket region. I think it's Tom Banton there, who's walking towards us. Can't see the number on his back from here. And there is no run. Just a quick update on the weather. The floodlights are on. It's just gone 3:15 in the afternoon here, and it just feels as though things are closing in once again. It's got very grey, very misty, and there might be the chance of another shower at some point. As Woakes is in, and that's an absolutely stunning drive from Reeza Hendricks. On the up, two England fielders groping and scrabbling around in the dirt. The diving Joe Root at extra cover was beaten. The diving Eoin Morgan at mid-off was beaten, and that is a shot of high quality. And just as I speak, the stumps have been uprooted from the ground. Alan Dar is taken off his hat and he's scuttling away. The stumps, barring the stump mic, have been pulled out of the ground at the bowler's end, and the groundsmen are sprinting as fast as you can, carrying a huge piece of tarpaulin, and the players are on their way off the pitch.
I'll tell you what, a disappointing finish there again. I mean, how many times are going to say you're bowling to Reeza Hendricks, don't give him anything to drive whatsoever. Again, ball giving himself a little bit of room to hit the ball through that extra cover mid-off area. We just haven't got it right so far. 38 for 1 off 6.3 over South Africa. They'll be really happy. You hit the pitch hard, back of a length. He's just offered to do a little bit.
38 for 1 then, and Hendricks, after that sublime extra cover drive, is 24 from just 20 deliveries, 3 fours for him. Temba Bavuma has just made it out to the middle. He's 2 from 2, and at the current rate, South Africa make 263. You'd like to think that they'd end up with a few more than that, particularly if England continue to offer up freebies that they have done in the early exchanges. But the news here from Kingsmead is not particularly good. The crowds who have plotted themselves up around the green banks here on either side of the ground are suddenly scuttling away for the cover of the stands. Castle Corner has got a good couple of hundred people sort of undercover underneath the stilts there of that chalet, and people are just trying to move towards the back of all the stands here at Kingsmead to grab some cover. England have just taken a wicket, that of the in-form Quinton de Kock. Joe Root, brought on by Eoin Morgan for specifically that purpose, has knocked over the South African left-hander once more for 11. And as I said before, the score's 38 for 1. We've got a big full covering over the square and the 22 yards of the pitch at the moment, and the players are all off the park. It's thoroughly disappointing. Although, if you'd believe the radar and the weather reports that we'd had from yesterday, we're lucky to have had any cricket at all today. The forecast was absolutely dreadful, not only for today but also
मैंने ऑटो मैचिंग का ही नहीं बन की थी। ऑटो मैच तो ऑन था, फिर ऑन कैसे हो गया? बाहर आओ।
Somebody move your body, somebody move your body, your body. Mauser, Mulatong, the Nera, हेलो
हेलो।
हाँ पा प्रणाम।
हाँ खुश रहो, कैसे कर रहे हो?
ठीक है अभी दवा खाए शाम को।
कुछ फायदा नहीं है ना?
है थोड़ा कम है पहले से।
हैं?
पहले से थोड़ा कम है, बुखार नहीं है अभी फिलहाल।
बुखार है, तुम घर चले जाओ।
अरे कैसे घर अभी चले आऊंगा?
हैं?
अभी कैसे चले हैं?
क्यों?
अरे अभी पैसा थोड़ा
जब
कुछ
ठीक हो
है।
जाएगी तो जाना, ठीक है तो पैसा मुझे देंगे।
देखते हैं हम, अगर एक दो दिन देख ले रहे नहीं सही वो तो चले हम।
फिर नया से बात कर करके काहे नहीं दवाई पूछे?
अरे अभी
अपने
पूछ लेंगे, अब एक दवा ली है कम से कम 4 बार तो खेबे करा।
खेबे करे मुंह हवा एकदम लाल लाल दिख रहा है।
अरे ठीक हो जाएगा अभी। और क्या हो रहा? ठीक है माँ।
अब ज्यादा भैया गड़बड़ हो हमें समझ में नहीं आ रहा है।
अरे नहीं हो तो ज्यादा दिक्कत होगी, आएंगे चले आएंगे।
आपके चले आओ, अगर तो कहो तो हम ही चले आए।
अरे अभी बताएंगे हम, खाने दो पहले दवा 2-3 दिन।
आज खाके देखो नहीं फायदा करो तो तुम यहीं चले आओ बाबू।
ठीक है माँ।
ठीक है।
ठीक है प्रणाम। Mauser. तुझमें रब दिखता है यारा मैं क्या करूं Gandhi is ahead.
Wait. Enemies ahead. Enemies ahead. Enemies ahead. Wait. Enemies ahead. Fall back to safe zone. Fall back to safe zone.
दाल भरी पूड़ी बनानी थी। दाल भी हो गई है ना। हाँ ये दाल भिगो दिया गया है। कमी तो पड़ेगा। 4 लोग हैं। 4 लोग हैं। आलू पराठा होता है ना, उसमें के साथ दाल वो डाल जाती है, दाल उसमें हाँ खाना बनवा देगा मेरे एक आदमी का 2 साल हाँ क्या बनवा दे चलो ना फिर कुछ लोग चलो ना बच्चे बात है ये काम कर रहे हैं तेरे के साथ मम्मी जरा दाल में पूरी बता रहा है दीदी कैसे करता है हाँ दे ना अरे दीदी आती जो खाना बना है तो दाल भिगो दिए थे चलो खा लिया ये कह रहे हैं कि वो खीर दीदी बनानी बोल रही है केक बना रही ये दीदी को बनवा दो हाँ क्या बनवा लो दीदी से Come on body, move your body. Come on body, move your body. जैसे कि दाल का पराठा बनाती हूँ लेकिन ये पूरी नहीं बनाती माउजर धीरे से छोड़ दो थोड़ा सा हल्दी डाल के आम को रख के पका के फिर ना हरी हाँ लहसुन नहीं है विशाल से बोलो लेकर आए बोल दो ना कहाँ क्या है कहीं नहीं रुक ले अबे अरे बोल लहसुन बोल अबे यहीं बज रहा है सुबह के तरफ मुझे ऐसा लगा कि दिन सुबह खा लूंगा ये रात आदमी को पता है नहीं क्या जितना वक्त है ना बना लीजिए और फिर इसी को सुबह खा लेंगे सुबह सब्जी सुबह है या तो खा लेंगे ये नहीं कर सकती है जिसका मटेरियल होता है ना वो रख देंगे उसी से कुछ होगा फिर बड़ा हो जाएगा अभी जो अच्छा होता है एक तरफ को बंद करेंगे हाँ वो खीर बनाओगे क्या हुआ दीदी नहीं बना रही क्या बना दीजिए आप ही बना दीजिए
दिमाग मेरा खराब हो गया था मुझे आपका मैं ना बॉल से भी गंदा खेलती थी ठीक है
हाँ तो अच्छा मेरे खाना को सादा होता है ये लाल मिर्च मेरा आता ही वीडियो वगैरह
मेन बिल्डिंग मिडिल बिल्डिंग्स मेरे पास अस्ट्रल के बस मैं रोक लेता वैसे कोई फायदा होगा नहीं सामने आ जाऊंगा
तो हाँ एक मिनट ना तू लूज रहा है क्या अरे कैसा पास कैसे हो गया
You don't look half bad, dude. All the way. I know. मैं वो तेरी बहन अबे जो ऑन द अपने बहन के लोड कन्नगाड़ी
अभी गुलाब शाह रही जाके लैपटॉप ले लेना हाँ
you know, play potentially not play at all in April and May in county cricket, or go off and play with the best in the world in the IPL.
Michael Vaughan never experienced the IPL. He's got absolutely no idea about the IPL. No idea about how much it does for your confidence to be around the legends of the game, the greatest in the game. I mean, imagine Banton ending up, I don't know where he's KKR. So he's in McCullum as his head coach. So he can
Thank you very much for joining us. It's been a most enlightening chat. Some people might be thinking that the rain can stay. If we're going to,
but the thing is as well is I care deeply about English cricket, Butch. English cricket gave me everything that I've got today. Okay, everything that I've got today, and that's why when you see a guy like Jofra Archer make the sacrifices that he's had to make, and he's here and he's done it, and he's fast tracked and he's into it for 3 years instead of 7 years, give the guy the respect to not say anything behind his back and let all the nonsense come upstairs. Treat him like the guy is that got fast-tracked. Because